ladies. You must be the very, very special group of people who came today. We invited lots of women all over Metro Manila and Luzon, and we have here, I see the beautiful faces and very special. I can see that even though we are small in number, but it's not about the quality, and it's not about the quantity, it's about the quality. And I feel very confident that despite of the small numbers today, we have huge goal. We have this big vision. We call it Vision 2020. But I have all the confidence that we can all do it. Do you agree with that? Yes. So I want to greet you one more time, a very pleasant good morning to everyone. I hope and I look forward to a day full of productive discussion. First of all, I think I need to give you more information, more background about Women's Federation for World Peace. Some of us here, our board members, have served Women's Federation for the last 16, 15 years. And let's give a round of applause as our gratitude to all these women who work hard. Thank you very much. Having served Women's Federation for almost half my life, 16 years. I'm not 32, by the way, I'm 42. I have served Women's Federation in New York mostly, and I have seen what the Women's Federation has done, and the last 20 years of Women's Federation service to the world, it has made a tremendous impact in the lives of many women, children, and families all over the world. The Japanese that are here, I would like to recognize the hard work of our Japanese. We had 160,000 Japanese volunteers throughout the world by Women's Federation for World Peace. Would you please stand up, Japanese sisters, representing all the hardworking Japanese sisters all over the country. Thank you so much. Today, we are embarking a very ambitious task. On September 21, we launched the Mother's Hearts Network when we commemorated the International Day of Peace. There were so many women inspiring, and we had big dreams. Today, it's more like we come here, we learn, we need to know in detail what Women's Federation is all about, how Women's Federation in 20 years was able to make a big impact from the grassroots, from the small houses in Africa, all the way to the halls of the United Nations. We have influenced those mindsets and resolutions, and going back to the national implementations of laws. So today, I would like to ask for your attention and open your heart and mind as we delve into the guiding principles of why Women's Federation has been so successful with the dream of our founder, the Reverend Sun Myung Moon and Mrs. Hak Jahan Moon, of women and families working together to build the world of peace. So our theme today is loving God, loving the country, women leading the way to cultivate a culture of heart. Isn't that beautiful? Okay, Women's Federation Philippines is formally established in 1993. We're a a network of 120 nations, chapters all over the world. And it was founded in April 10, 1992 by Dr. Reverend San Myung Moon and Dr. Hakjahan Moon. So we are a non-profit, non-governmental, international organization with a consultative status, general consultative status at the United Nations Economic and Social Council. There are more than 4,000 NGOs that UN had accredited since 1960. And of those 4,000 NGOs, there are only 144 NGOs who has the general consultative status. And Women's Federation is one of those organizations. Aren't you proud that we have this very prestigious, influential organization here in the Philippines? We adhere to the principle that the women working together, taking the initiative and empowering one another across traditional lines of race, cultures, and religions, we create family, healthy families, and then we resolve the complex problems of our society. So we have statement of beliefs. So if we are to accomplish a very important mission, the Mother's Hearts Network, which today is really a day of commitment that we are going to establish 4,000 chapters in 4,000 barangays of the Philippines. So the ladies here, all of us, are the seed and the hope of the Filipino women, children, and the men as well. So in order for us to successfully accomplish our goals, we need to have beliefs and guiding principles. So these are the guiding principles of Women's Federation. We believe that both men and women are created in the image of God. We are equal in value and should be given opportunities to contribute to their unique qualities and perspectives to leadership in the larger society. We believe in the sanctity of marriage. That is very important. Marriage that is based on the original ideal standard of God, the nuclear family, should be held as the ideal norm for a healthy society. And we hold that chastity before marriage and fidelity in marriage are desirable goals and will help redirect our youth to more constructive, healthier lives. We believe that self-centeredness is the root of many personal and social problems. Correcting those problems will begin by teaching true love and the value of living for the sake of others. We believe that through educating families in the true parenting skills, they can be enabled to practice true love within the home and every other level of society. We believe that women of all nations are entitled to recognition of their true value. We support women's desire to take leadership in society and reject practices in which women are oppressed and discriminated against. We believe that women can transcend religious traditions and doctrines and racial and national barriers to join together with men in facilitating global peace. We believe also that in conflict resolution should be achieved whenever possible through dialogue and reconciliation, empathy, compassion, repentance, and forgiveness rather than violence. So these are the statement of beliefs. And I believe that you also believe in that. And do we agree on that? Thank you. So I'd like to share with you, moving forward to we have the Vision 2020. Actually, it's not the Vision 2020 for the eyes. It's really that our goal is by 2020, Women's Federation will accomplish a landmark achievement in the history of the world, in our country and in the world. So that's what Vision 2020 means. So our mission is Women's Federation works to provide women with the knowledge, the tools, and support needed to create peace at home, peace in the communities and nations in our world. So first is, in order to achieve peace in the world, it has to start from our homes, from ourselves. And then by 2020, every mother in every household all over the Philippines will become a full-fledged member of the Mother's Hearts Network. 20 million strong women who are the standard bearers of truth, beauty, and goodness in their homes and in their community. How about that? Are you excited? I just got a few nods. 20 million strong women who are the standard bearers of truth, beauty, and goodness. Is that realistic or impossible? Realistic or impossible? Realistic, I like that. Very, very realistic. And we have to believe that. So the Mother's Hearts Network, it is actually, it's not a network marketing. It's a network of artistically connected women seeking to build a nation of love and goodness, striving together, working together amidst of challenges and darkness, pain, and sorrow. We are still interconnected, holding hands, joining forces to be the standard bearers of the truth, beauty, and goodness in our starting from our homes. So in order, we all know our world has been influenced by 6,000 years of history of conflict, evilness, fighting, deceit, all of the problems in history. When we declare that we want to be a standard bearer of truth, beauty, and goodness, we better hold on to each other because we cannot do it by ourselves. Do you agree? We have to hold on. We cannot stand by ourselves. We hold on to our husband. We hold on to our fathers, our mothers, our sisters, our family. And our family need to hold on and work together with our neighbors and the other communities, and on and on. Mother's Hearts Network will provide a holistic educational program for women, introducing a feminine approach to peace building. A feminine approach. We have so many, in the past, we all wanted peace and prosperity, but most of the educational approach of organizations and hardline NGOs and even the government and the communities, we always, and even in the military, it's hardline approach towards achieving peace. But in women, a new paradigm, not just the activist, kind of spirit, but a power that is very strong and powerful, derived from within our hearts. That kind of energy and power. Then if we have that, even if we speak very softly, and our projects and our activities, and in a way it's a soft effect, kind of Holy Spirit effect, therapeutic, but it has a very strong power and message that can change the course of history. Mother Moon, Dr. Hak Ja Han Moon, the co-founder of Women's Federation for World Peace, she emphasized, she stressed that women, we have entered the women's era, and women are the turning point. We women were not put on earth merely to help or to be protected by men. We are independent individuals as representatives of the feminine aspects of God's nature. We are meant to help men become more complete. Through true love, women are to be men's precious partners in love. Men and women are absolutely equal in terms of value. Isn't that nice? So, a mother's role. Let's give a round of applause to ourselves. Throughout history, women have struggled to claim back their original value. Even until, in some parts of the world, until this day, women still had to struggle to find their own dignity and value. So we are very lucky, we're blessed here in Philippines. Our country is very kind to women. Not quite there yet, but maybe 95%. A mother's role. If we look back at history and study the root cause of human conflict, going back to the time of our first parents, Adam and Eve, we come to understand that our society's problems started from the family. The mothers play the most important role in creating an environment of love and unity in the family. Governor Professor Irma earlier said that the hands that rocks the cradle rules the world. And that is very true. Because if the woman and the mother in the family can raise up and educate and influence a small individual, a small little person to grow up to be the greatest person in history, that is amazing, and that is a very big accomplishment. Through education and partnership in the community level, mothers can support each other to create healthy families which eventually solve the complex problems of our society. So this is the big mission of the Mother's Hearts Network. With all this dream that we have, we need a guiding principle. We definitely need a guiding principle. Our principles and our values in this present world are not centered on the absolute moral standard which God had created, which God had mandated since the beginning of time. So, in order for us to be powerful and strong and unchanging and absolute, we need an absolute standard, and we need a guiding principle. Mother's Hearts Network's training programs are designed to educate, support, and inspire women leaders to lead and serve within the premise of living the essence of divine principle and apply these principles in our daily lives. We have speakers, very special speakers, world-class speakers here today. How lucky we are. We have speakers who have lectured in the Asian level, in the world level, to discuss about the essence of divine living, the guiding principles that must guide us in order to accomplish our vision and mission and apply it in our daily lives. So it's not just about theory. It's not about philosophical discussion, but we will talk about how to apply these principles in our daily lives. We have very practical, our lecturers will give us practical practical information and educational programs, how we can apply these guiding principles in our daily lives. So we extensively focus on the role of women in each family and encourage the mothers in the community to create a supportive environment, cultivating a culture of heart, and strive to be the standard bearers of truth, beauty, and goodness in the family. So the motto of Mother's Hearts Network is standard bearer of truth, beauty, and goodness. Would you like that motto? Somebody asks you, you're a member of the Mother's Hearts Network, what do you do? We strive to become the standard bearers of truth, beauty, and goodness. So that alone, it will make us stand out. And before you know it, all the other women in the Philippines will be working with us. In search of our original human value, we want to, with the guiding principles, we want to revitalize in our hearts and our minds and our action the importance of our role in the family and in nurturing our true humanity. Actually, you know, when we think of, we say we are human beings. But in a sense, you know, human being, in the perspective, in the point of view of God, human being who has complete, intact mind, spirit, and body. But the spirit that God wants to see in us, and the values that God to see in us, in most of cases in our lives, in our society today, these are not manifested. So when we say nurturing our humanity, meaning the original human value that God had given to us before the fall of Adam and Eve. Our lecturer, Professor Navalta, will discuss more about that later. And raising children to become honorable, loving men and women who can truly lead and love the country unselfishly. To me, this is very important, raising children to become honorable men and women. One day, about 2 months ago, I heard on the radio, I was riding a taxi, and there was this group of, some group, they wanted to petition that they wanted to remove the title of the congressmen and senators, the honorable, because they think that they're not honorable. I'm sorry to the honorable, the truly honorable public service people, but it is a red flag. It is very alarming if we don't do something as parents, even in our own little influence in our families, showing as a model for our children so that they will act honorably. Our leaders were educated in a very prestigious universities all over the world. West Point, Harvard, University of the Philippines, with all their accolades and all supreme intellect. But I guess from 400 years, or no, 200 years in Philippine history, how far have those intellect and talent have taken our country to a level of love and a true sense of being honorable? This is something that we need to discuss today. How we can make a difference, starting from our family. We all want truth. We all seek for beauty, we all seek for goodness, honesty, integrity. Those are all in the pledges and idealism. But those should not remain as just idealism. It should be, we have it, it's not somewhere that we read, but we also should have it in our mind and in our heart. And it should be manifested in our daily activities, in our daily lives. How do we make an extra conscious effort every single day to be honorable, loving, and serving men and women? If we educate with a new paradigm. We look into a new knowledge that has not been often discussed in the schools. In the schools, we have character education, but they only touch on a very shallow moral standard based on the convenience of who's listening. We don't want to offend anybody. We want to be politically correct. We want to be friends to this group of people, so we are not brave enough to venture into what is really the ideal standard of God, the ideal standard that can make us go into the right direction and change the course of the history of our country. I think this is the darkest days of the Philippine history. This, aside from the calamities, even in politics, even in the morality, and even in the family, we should think about it and take the challenge that to leave the comfort zone of our own moral standard. We don't want to challenge what is, people call it crossing the line because our friends might be offended. But Mother's Hearts Network will move forward with that standard that no matter what, without sacrificing, without compromising the dignity of God's absolute standard, we must go forward. Otherwise, we cannot change the course of history. Would you like to be that kind of women? Thank you. Me too, I'd like to be that kind of woman. So based on the premise of empowering the women from within, developing her full potential, enabling her to shine and be catalyst, peacemaker in her community. If we have a bunch of community full of women talking about absolute standard of truth, beauty, and goodness, before we know it, if we teach our children, if we teach our brothers and sisters, our immediate families, before we know it, we can have a community full of love, beauty, and goodness, leading the way, living by the logic of love. So we don't talk about idealism only. I always believe that to be a good leader, it's not just about talking about what is ideal, spiritual. I believe in balance. Mother Moon said, we live in the era of women. Women must be the embodiment of balance and harmony. How do we manage our household? Feeding the kids, cooking, while saving the world, and maintaining a very pristine, clean house while saving the world. You know, that kind of balance. Have you thought about that? Private and public life? I thought about that. You know, that is my reality every day. But realistically, I can't do it, so that's why I have help. So Mother's Hearts Network will not just talk about ideals. First is we equip ourselves with the wisdom and knowledge of the absolute standard of God's standard. God gave us 3 great blessings. What are those 3 great blessings? Be fruitful, multiply, and have dominion. 1, 2, and 3. There is an order. Fruitful means we have to be matured. When a tree is mature, they bear fruit. And for human beings, we grow towards maturity, meaning our heart and our spirit, our mind is matured. And then when we're matured, we can have all the ability to love another person, another human being, that is our husband, our family, and other people. And enabling us to establish a good family. Once we have a good family, then the 3rd blessing comes. So fruitful means having good family. The 3rd blessing is dominion. Be what is that? the ruler of the creation, God's creation. Meaning, to me, when I say God's blessing number 3, dominion of the world, meaning material wealth, happiness, comfort. God created the earth before He created Adam and Eve in order for His children to live a comfortable life. Everything is good, everything is there. It's just that Adam and Eve didn't listen to God. They messed up. They have to work very hard in order to live. But actually, originally, we have to live our lives. Work is just secondary, but we have to live our life. We are the subject of the material things. So this time, for the Mother's Hearts Network, we believe that 3 great blessings, and it's not interchange. First is we have to be matured people. We have to be perfect in nature. In the Bible, God said, I can't memorize the verse, but we have to be perfect as our Heavenly Father is perfect. We strive to be that perfect men and women. And then when we have the matured character, we become a matured person, then, and a good family, automatically God will give us the authority, the spiritual authority and the material authority to have the material wealth. So, in addition to educational programs, we will have livelihood programs. It's not just about livelihood, but how to implement, how to build material wealth, how to enjoy it properly, and how to be the righteous owner and proper steward of our nation's wealth, and also how we can how we can implement initiatives for our social well-being as a community, as a nation. So, and sustainability. We need to sustain that for hundreds of years and thousands of years for our next generation. So this is what it means by cultivating a culture of heart. So we have a strategic plan for Vision 2020. So I'm gonna move faster. So we will have, as I mentioned before, tools and knowledge and support, training. And then by 2020, we want to have a nation, to live in a nation without corruption. Moral corruption, spiritual corruption, social corruption, and political corruption. So there are 2 types of corruption, moral and spiritual. A relationship with God, family, and society was corrupted. And then we have the political corruption, leaders of society and members of society. This relationship is corrupted by recognizing. When we think of corruption, we only think, most people think that, oh, it's the leaders who are corrupt, it's the politicians. But if we look at ourselves and recognize that I myself has a corrupted relationship with God and my family and my brothers and sisters, once we recognize that something is wrong with us, then we can fix it. First is we need to stop that, we need to live in that realm of denial. And then accept that there's a problem and solve it. We Lead to Serve project. It's an acronym, Women Empowered, Loving, Experiencing, Achieving, and Daring to Serve. So this is an international service project. We have 6 of this in the process. We were going to do this next year. These are international partnership of women from other countries coming to Philippines and live together for 2 weeks and work together for a higher purpose. This is very exciting. So later on in the breakout session, we can talk more about it. It's in the premise of interdependence, mutual prosperity, and universally shared values. So from inspiration to, I had another one, implementation. So we have in order for us to be able to do what we want to do, to accomplish this dream, we need to be educated. We have one-day Mother's Hearts Network Leadership Seminar like this, and we will have a Divine Principle 7 days Divine Principle workshop. We will have leadership training, practicing best practices at home, creating the tradition of true love. And then we will have weekly small group meetings. We have to keep the momentum and we have to keep each other close. As we lead the community, we need to be closer and closely connected to each other. And then we will establish training centers in every barangay. How we do that? Let us be confident that when we are, our mind and our heart is inspired, the heavens will open and all the blessings will come. All the fogs, spiritual fogs and financial problems and all that will disappear. And we can what we dream of will be established. It will happen. But this will happen only if we equip ourselves, we educate ourselves, not just learn, but we need to practice it. It's all about practicing it. That's the bottom line, practicing it in our daily lives. Then we could collaborate, and as I mentioned earlier, we have programs, not just spiritual, but also financial. So we have goals and time frames. We want to establish 4,000 chapters in 4,000 barangays. We have 40,000 barangays in the Philippines. So 4,000 is just a very small fraction of it. And then we want to have 12 pioneer leaders per barangay. So 12 times 4,000, how many would that be? 48,000, 2014. And then 2015, we want to expand to, we want to double the numbers of barangays. We want to go to 8,000 barangays and doubling the numbers. So each 12 members, they will have to expand to, they have to make somebody influence or love and serve 3 families, 3 women as best friends, best buddies, barkadas. Not the chica barkadas, but for a positive goal. So every year, this person will multiply by 3, and then so we will have, for some reason, the numbers are gone. But every year, so we will have, by 2016, we have 12,000 barangays, and okay, here it is. So 2017, 16,000 barangays times 12, so 192,000. Each of the 12 women leaders will witness to 3 mothers. So it will become 600,000. So the numbers get more and more overwhelming. Don't be overwhelmed, but these are realistic. Remember, there's 100 million Filipinos. Half of them, more than that, are women. So when we say 20 million strong by 2020, it's not really that ambitious. It's very realistic. 2019, we have 12 million. And 2020, we have 17 million and another 3 million from our children, the youth. We will have 20 million. Can we give ourselves a round of applause? So I want to give you a picture of our launching. Beautiful event. So as mothers and women leaders, we must find a way to wisely respond to the chronic problem of corruption. Let us end corruption in our lifetime to make sure that our children can fully enjoy the healthy and progressive lives that history has denied us for so long. Let us raise children who can love God and love our country with heavenly dignity. Let us join forces to create a women's movement powerful enough to change the course of our nation. With God's love as our moral compass, let us all stand up for the future that we all want, a nation of love and peace. And I want to conclude my presentation with this excerpt from the speech of Father Moon, the co-founder of Women's Federation. He says, "I leave you with a choice. Will you join me as I rise and gain strength in accordance with heavenly fortune? Or will you remain captive behind the same old walls? All of them Satan's handiwork, the wall of your religion, the wall of your culture, the wall of your nationality, and the wall of your race, and spend the remainder of your time on earth in agony and regret." Thank you very much.